As area pharmacies look to use up their vaccine supply before it expires, they're creating waste lists open to anyone.
The president answers reporters' questions from the border crisis to North Korea to running for re-election. I'm Natalie Brand with the highlights of his first official news conference since taking office.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Some area pharmacies are trying to make sure their COVID-19 vaccine supply doesn't go to waste. This is KOAM News at 5. As pharmacies get more doses of vaccines, more appointments become available. But when people don't show up for their appointments, those unused doses of the vaccine could go bad. Instead of letting them go to waste, pharmacists use a waiting list to find people to vaccinate.
And because of that, we don't want to waste any doses. And so, yes, at the end of the day, potentially we have a backup list that we can reach out to if we're struggling to use those, because we want to be very responsible with that and not waste doses if we don't have to.
People on the lists are prioritized by vaccine eligibility. When those eligible can't come in, the next available person on the list is called. College students in Fort Scott won't have to pay as much for college this coming school year. Fort Scott Community College will receive around $2 million in federal pandemic relief. That'll be used to cover the general fees for all students from the upcoming fall semester until the summer semester of 2022.
The thought was that we would be able to have the highest impact on the most students possible if we distributed it through general fees, because general fees are something that every student would have to pay coming in.
The discount will be applied automatically. The college wants to remind students that some specialized fees, like tools for a cosmetology class, won't be covered. Doug Heddy joins us now with a first look at the weather. Hi, Doug.
Hey, Dow. Kind of a crummy day once again for us today. Just the clouds all day long and then periods of showers, even a few thunder showers. But the good news here is the rain is moving out. Now, we still have the clouds outside and it is kind of cold, but the rain is moving out, so that is good news, and we get to dry out just a bit for a couple days. We're still going to have the clouds at least through the evening hours, and then the clouds will start to break up. We may get a little bit of patchy fog in here later on tonight. It is chilly. We're sitting upper 40s to near 50 degrees. As we go through the evening hours, our temperatures will slowly drop back all the way down to about 39 later on tonight, but you can see at least we clear out, so what that does mean is we should see quite a bit of sunshine for us tomorrow. We'll drop back to about 39 for us tonight, but sunshine returns tomorrow, also warmer temperatures. We're going to look at that here in a bit.
All right, we'll see you then. Thanks, Doug. President Biden held his first news conference since taking office, taking on tough topics from the southern border to foreign policy disputes with North Korea. Reporter Natalie Brand is at the White House with more.
From the East Room of the White House, President Biden touted progress in the federal response against the coronavirus.
Today I'm setting a second goal, and that is we will, by my 100th day in office, have administered 200 million shots.
But he faced tough questions about what many call a growing crisis on the southern border. The surge of unaccompanied children arriving this month is expected to reach historic levels.
If an unaccompanied child ends up at the border, we're just going to let them starve to death and stay on the other side. I'm not going to do it.
The president has called on Congress to act in the wake of 2 mass shootings in less than a week. During the news conference, he was also pressed on calls to abolish the filibuster in an evenly divided Senate.
Let's deal with the abuse first. I want to get things done. I want to get them done consistent with what we promised the American people.
On the foreign policy front, the president is facing growing tensions as North Korea has resumed its missile tests. A U.S. official says the country test-fired what appeared to be 2 short-range ballistic missiles into the Sea of Japan Thursday.
If they choose to escalate, we will respond accordingly. But I'm also prepared for some form of diplomacy.
While President Biden said it's too soon to plan for 2024, he announced that he expects to run for re-election with Vice President Kamala Harris as his running mate. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
During today's news conference, the president said his next major initiative is infrastructure. He vowed to lay out his plans when he travels soon to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The suspected gunman in the Boulder supermarket shooting appeared in court today for the first time. A defense attorney immediately asked for an assessment of his mental health. Ahmed Al-Alivi Alassa faces 10 charges of first-degree murder. North Korea has test-fired 2 suspected ballistic missiles for the first time since President Biden took office. They flew about 280 miles before landing in the Sea of Japan. A South Korean general tells CBS News it's a move meant to intimidate the new Biden administration. North Korea's ballistic missiles are banned under a UN Security Council resolution. A cargo ship the size of a skyscraper has been trapped in Egypt's Suez Canal since Tuesday. Extreme winds pushed the Panama-flagged ship off course and wedged it across the man-made waterway, triggering a backup of at least 150 other vessels and imperiling global shipping. Efforts to free the ship by digging and using dredgers has so far proven to be little help. Coming up in Health Watch, a new goal for the first 100 days.
President Biden has a new goal for COVID-19 vaccinations. I'm Danya Backus with the number of shots he wants administered.
And later, tech giants are on the hot seat as a House panel looks into misinformation on social media. Patients planning elective surgery should get priority for the COVID vaccine. That's the recommendation from a new study funded by the National Institute for Health Research. Surgery patients are at a much higher risk of catching COVID, especially patients 70 and older. The study says vaccinating surgery patients could save more than 50,000 lives. We told you President Biden has announced an updated goal to administer 200 million COVID-19 vaccinations in his first 100 days in office. The development came as total U.S. coronavirus cases surpassed the 30 million mark. Danya Backus reports.
With COVID-19 vaccines helping ease the pandemic, President Biden is setting a new goal for vaccinating Americans.
200 million shots in 100 days. I know it's ambitious, twice our original goal, but no other country in the world has even come close.
The state of Michigan now has the second highest COVID-19 case rate per capita in the U.S. and will allow all residents age 16 and up to get a shot beginning April 5th. Come Monday in Florida, the age of eligibility for the vaccine will be reduced from 50 to 40, with younger residents not far behind.
All adults in the state, age 18 and older, will be eligible for the vaccine beginning Monday, April 5th.
As COVID vaccine supplies increase, community leaders in Los Angeles came together to let residents know they can receive a COVID vaccine regardless of immigration status.
If we're going to get out of this pandemic, we need to come together as a community and vaccinate everyone.
The move comes after some Rite Aid pharmacists refused to vaccinate 2 undocumented women in Orange County, saying they needed Social Security numbers to get the vaccine. Rite Aid has apologized for denying the shots. Hoping to become the 4th COVID-19 vaccine approved for emergency use in the U.S., the drug maker AstraZeneca now says its vaccine is 76% effective at preventing symptoms. That's down 3 percentage points from the results initially released Monday.
It is still an amazing vaccine, and we shouldn't let this noise affect our acceptance of something that could save our lives.
In New York City, Mayor Bill de Blasio announced plans for a vaccination site for theater workers in an effort to reopen Broadway this fall. Danya Backus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Rutgers University today announced it would require all students enrolled for the 2021 fall semester to be vaccinated before arriving on campus. Exercise appears to be just as effective as drugs at treating depression in dementia patients. A report in the British Medical Journal finds non-drug treatments like exercise or massage therapy work just as well or even better than medications among dementia patients suffering from depression or loneliness. Eating just 1 cup of green leafy vegetables a day could make a big difference to your health. A study published in the Journal of Nutrition finds that people who ate more nitrates from vegetables had significantly better muscle function. Poor muscle function is linked to greater risk of falls and is considered a key indicator of health. Doug Heddy is up next with his complete forecast, and a little bit later a look at the latest weekly unemployment report.
Well, it's definitely turned out to be kind of a dreary day once again for us today. The clouds, on and off showers, even a few little thunder showers across the region. But the good news here is the rain is moving out, so we're going to start to dry out from this point on. Most of us, rainfall was fairly light, and then once you got south of Interstate 44, that's where it really picked up. 0.16 of an inch at the airport in Joplin. 5.38 is where we are sitting for the month, which is quite a bit of rain for the month of March. It's also chilly. Most of us, 48 to about 50 degrees, and our temperatures eventually will drop back upper 30s later on tonight. But you can see the winds behind this storm system switching out of the northwest, a little bit on the breezy side, and that's just going to keep us cool as we go through the evening into the overnight hours. Rain is gone, but the clouds still stick. Currently sitting at 48, west, northwesterly winds at about 10 to 15. Humidity, of course, is high at 89%. We're going to drop back through the 40s, and the clouds are going to start to break up over the next couple hours. Now, we could get a little bit of patchy fog in here later on tonight, so we do need to watch out for that as we go through the overnight hours. All right, here's rainfall amounts. You can see most of us kind of in the lighter blue, 1/10 to about 2/10 of an inch of rain. But once you get south of Interstate 44, a quarter, half an inch, and then our far southern counties, about an inch of rain, something we really didn't need. But you can see this last batch kind of wrapping up and heading out of here. So most of us are dry now. We still have the clouds. We're going to stick with the clouds at least through the evening hours, and then those will start to break up. But this whole storm system wrapping up, a monster severe weather event going on in central Alabama, numerous big long track tornadoes this afternoon. So this whole storm system will roll east. And then if we look out toward the west, our next system is already dropping into the Pacific Northwest. You can see the jet stream energy from Seattle, Portland, San Francisco, all the way down to Los Angeles. For us tonight, clouds break, but again, a little bit of patchy fog, so watch out for that if you are going to be on the roadways. As we go into tomorrow, we're going to have some clouds in the morning, but I think we'll break out and see mostly sunny skies by the afternoon. But look at our temperatures. 39 to start, 64 by noon, high temp of 70. So a great way to kick off the weekend. A little breezy, south winds at about 10 to 15, but in general, it really looks fantastic for us tomorrow. As we go into tomorrow night, still we stick with clear skies. Temperatures will drop back near 50, and then it looks like Saturday again. I think we'll go into the lower 70s, but a cold front slides in. So most of the day is going to be dry. But once we get into Saturday afternoon, late afternoon, we are going to get some scattered thunderstorms. And a few of these may even be strong or low-grade severe. So we'll keep our eyes on that. But as quickly as they develop, they're out of here. And then we look pretty good as we head into Sunday. Sunday's going to be a nice day. A little bit cooler, lower 60s, but plenty of sunshine. Warming up a bit, again, near 70 by Monday. And then our next storm system, again, will drop in by late Tuesday into Wednesday, and that's going to cool us back down. In the pattern, this is the system that occurred on Valentine's Day that gave us the big Arctic blast in the pattern, but thankfully we're not going to see that this time around. We're just going to cool down into the 50s. 70 for us tomorrow, 72 Saturday, thunderstorms late. Cooler, but a great day Sunday. Monday looks great, and then some thunder showers again late Tuesday into Wednesday, and we drop into the mid-50s Wednesday and Thursday of next week.
Looking forward to a couple of nice days ahead.
Yeah, tomorrow looks fantastic.
Thanks, Zach. Coming up, lawmakers question social media executives over the spread of disinformation on their platforms. First, though, we honor a local Purple Heart recipient. Billy Atkins served in the U.S. Army from 2003 to 2010. The Carl Junction native was stationed in Iraq, and we salute Sergeant Billy Atkins, a four-state hero. An area bank announces it's closing 31 branch locations, including 3 in southwest Missouri. Arvest Bank says its reconfiguration plan will close 15 branches in Oklahoma, 12 in Arkansas, and 4 total in Missouri. The southwest Missouri locations closing on June 30th are the West 7th Street branch in Joplin, Neosho's Lusk Drive location, and the Arvest Bank on Main in Knoll. Arvest says it plans to install 38 live teller ATMs throughout its network. Those machines allow customers to have face-to-face communication with Arvest tellers through a video screen. You can check out the complete list of closings on our website, KOAMNewsNow.com. Significantly fewer Americans signed up for unemployment benefits last week. According to the Labor Department, 684,000 people filed first-time jobless claims. That's the lowest number since before the pandemic snapped the U.S. economy a year ago, and a sign that hiring might be picking up again. The leaders of social media companies were in the hot seat on Capitol Hill today, but tech CEOs testified virtually before a House panel about information on their platforms and how that could have played a role leading up to the attack on the U.S. Capitol. Reporter Skylar Henry is in Washington with the story.
It's a simple question, yes or no. Were you aware of it?
The CEOs of Facebook, Twitter, and Google got a hostile reception from lawmakers when they testified virtually for the first time since the attack on the U.S. Capitol. Pennsylvania Democrat Mike Doyle questioned Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg about the spread of extremist groups on the platform.
How is it possible for you not to at least admit that Facebook played a central role or a leading role in facilitating the recruitment, planning, and execution of the attack on the Capitol?
I think that the responsibility here lies with the people who took the actions to break the law and do the insurrection, and secondarily, also the people who spread that content, including the president, but others as well.
Zuckerberg also testified about Facebook's efforts to deal with misinformation. Twitter's CEO addressed how the companies handled the statements of specific users.
Ultimately, we're running a business, and a business wants to grow the number of customers it serves. Enforcing policy is a business decision.
Zuckerberg recommended reforming Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. It gives social media companies immunity from liability for content on their platforms. Changes in legislation seem likely, with lawmakers on both sides of the aisle dissatisfied.
Big tech has failed to be good stewards of your platforms.
Experts like Dr. Ethan Porter, an assistant professor at George Washington University, say changes first need to come from the company's leaders.
Even if you're skeptical about changing the rules or regulations, surely I think you'd want the norms to change to resemble standards of decency and civility that are useful for democracy.
And lawmakers are urging a standard for rules and accountability to prevent what happened on January 6th from ever happening again. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Cryptocurrency fans can now add a big ticket item to the list of things they can buy with their digital fortunes. Elon Musk announced on Twitter that you can buy a Tesla using Bitcoin. The automaker has stated that they'll not convert the Bitcoin into regular currency. The price of one Bitcoin climbed to over $56,000 shortly after Musk's tweet. That's more than an entry-level Tesla Model 3. And with a little more than 2 Bitcoins, you could purchase Tesla's most expensive vehicle, the Model X, which runs for around $120,000. Final check of the forecast next. The CBS Evening News is next. Then on KOAM News at 6, we're going to hear from an area resident who received a COVID-19 vaccine as part of a pharmacy waste list. Plus, expert advice on how to tell if your plants have died from the winter cold or if they can come back. And Kansas Governor Laura Kelly signs a bill changing how the state can respond to emergencies like the pandemic. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Check back now with Doug for a final look at the weather.
All right, Dow, a lot of clouds sticking around for the evening hours, and chilly. We're into the upper 40s. We'll drop into the upper 30s later on tonight, but we get paid back tomorrow. Sunshine returns, especially in the afternoon. High temp is 70. So it's going to be a fantastic day. 72 on Saturday, some thunderstorms late.
Thanks, Doug, and thank you for joining us. CBS Evening News is next. Of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. We'll see you then. In the meantime, let's take care of ourselves and each other.